Good afternoon and welcome. Just want to check to make sure that you can hear me. If you can, just raise your hand. Let me see, just making sure you can hear me. Okay, excellent. Welcome. It's, I don't know, what did I do with my watch? All right, so we at 4 minutes to. What we can do before we start is, if you can just send me some questions, any questions you may have concerning the current crisis in terms of from an economic standpoint. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical doctor, my daughter is, so she deals with the crisis on the front line. But for me, it's a focus on the economics of it and how do we help individuals, leaders, business owners to manage through this. So if you have any questions, just place them in the chat, and as my team is online, so they will help me ensure that we can answer all the questions as we go through today. So just place your question in the chat. We'll start in about 3 minutes. I'll review the questions as they come in. So I'm really grateful for having you here. Appreciate your attendance. Okay, so we have some raised hands. I appreciate that. Let me just make, okay, excellent. Q&A, no open questions. Okay, if you have questions, just let me know. Okay. All right. So I really, pray that you and your family remain safe. The governments of the region, of the world, I'm not sure where everybody's at. So what you can do for me, which would really help, is just type in the chat just where you're listening from. What countries are you in? So that will just help me get a sense of the this spread of the folks in the chat. So if you can just tell me where you are currently listening me or looking at me from, I'd appreciate that. So let me see, Toronto, Kentucky, Dominica, Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Kentucky, Mississauga, Canada, Barbados, New York, Dominica again. Okay, so we've got a pretty diverse audience. So we've got 2 more minutes. So Barbados, Trinidad, Grenada, see if there's any new Barbados. At which point should one consider adjusting costs for classes? Okay, group coaching. We are now going online. I want to know if it was necessary. Okay, thanks, Kelly. I will deal with that. Guillaume from Beirut. It's good to have you, Guillaume. Julia, good morning. Barbados, land of Barbados still, excellent. So we have Beirut, we have Kentucky, we have New York, we have Canada, Toronto, Mississauga, so we have Grenada, we have Dominica, Trinidad and Tobago, excellent. All right, so we're just about 1 minute away. So I have one question in terms of adjusting costs for classes, group coaching, going online. So we'll deal with that as we work through the day. Let's see if there's any more questions. Thanks for offering this program. Professional is not seen as an essential profession. What can I do to target the hotels after this episode? All right, we can speak about this. And Denise, you don't have to wait to target the hotels. You will find that there's still things that can be done. I'll speak to about a client that are in the UK who's maximizing the opportunity that he has now. Please omit. Okay, all right, no problem. Okay, excellent. Well, folks, thank you. Really appreciate you being here. I want to make sure that your time is well spent. So, as you have questions, I want you to just place them in the chat. But today I want to address how do we effectively lead in a time of crisis, and clearly we are in a time of crisis. And what we'll find, and I'll just as I walk through the presentation, is that a crisis is, if we look at the definition, an unstable, a crucial time or state of affairs in which decisive change is impending. Now, this has changed our modalities, it's changed the way we function, it's changed the way we interact, it's changed the way we communicate, it is changed, and it will probably change a lot of how things are done going forward. The reality is that we've always known that change is something that's inevitable, change is something that is consistent. The question is, though, that what happens now that we have a crisis? The reality is it is what it is. And I know, sometimes I may sound a little bit matter of fact, and that's because the productivity of the world is plummeting, because people are in panic, they're in crisis, they are worried, and therefore you find that they're not doing as much as they could. So what we want to do is to walk through today what you can do, because there are some things that's outside of our control. I can't control what the government does. And what they're doing, I think they're doing an excellent job. I speak for Barbados, where people have different perspectives, but the government's responsibility is to protect the populace. They've got to put things in place, and unfortunately, some people are not taking this as serious as they should, or it's probably a little bit too casual about it, and therefore the government has to take measures to ensure it protects the population. And they're in a little bit of a quandary, because the question is, how long do they do this for, and the impact of the economy, because there's going to be an impact on the economy, and how do we manage through this? Now, let me start by saying that there are some people who may not subscribe to the philosophy of moving forward and being proactive. I had a couple of comments on social media over the last day or two, on one of the posts I made in relation to business owners and what they need to do. And one person said that we're only concerned about money, and the other person said that, one person actually told me I should shut my mouth, which is an interesting response. But one of the things that I think we run away from is that they're either you are an employee, or you're an employer, or you may be retired. The reality is employees don't exist without employers. And employers are not able to sustain employment without revenues. So the reality is that, we are skeptical of business owners, we are skeptical of what's happening. But the reality is that if there are no business owners, if there are no businesses, then there are no employees, and people cannot look after their families. I say to folks that I'm not a medical doctor, I am a business coach, and therefore my role is to help businesses. That's what I've been doing over the last few weeks, is helping my clients through this. Now, what I'm saying to you is that for some of you, you may not think this is the right place for you, and that's fine. Because there's some people who believe that businesses are only interested in specific things. Employees are subservient to employers, but which is not the case. So the point I'm making is, not everyone is going to like what I say today. Not everyone is going to agree with what I say today, and I appreciate the difference in perspectives. Life is defined by choices, and you've chosen to be here today. And what I want to say to you is, make the right choice, not just by being here, but by what you do about being here. Because if you live here and you don't do what is required to help you through the process, you're not going to become as effective as you could be. So as you go through today, I want you to take notes, whether it's a pen and paper. I'm a little bit old school, so I believe there's something that happens from your mind through your hands to paper. For those of you who may be younger or prefer an iPad, an iPhone, an Android, feel free to document and to make notes. But more importantly, make some decision about what you will do after today. Because if you do nothing, then you've wasted your hour. And I don't want you to waste your time. Time is precious. The only commodity that we can't replace is time. So it's important for us to make the right decisions. And I want you to commit, as we start the session, that you're going to take action, that you're going to find something that you're going to be able to move forward with. Because I cannot control the circumstances. I cannot control the situation. but I can control how I respond. So my encouragement to you is to make the right choices today. Make the right choices about what you're going to do over the next few weeks. Because you can, we at the end of this day, we're going to arrive somewhere. We're going to come out of this. And it depends on how we want to come out of it by the choices we make, by the way we think and the actions we take. So what I want to ask you is to commit now that you're going to take action on at least one thing coming out of today's session. So that is what I want you to commit. So just raise your hand. Just give me some raised hands in terms of if you're willing to commit. Excellent. I'm seeing some raised hands. Excellent. Okay, great stuff. Thank you for the participation. I love it. So it's excellent. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So a commitment that you're going to do something, at least one thing out of today's session. Excellent. So a little bit about me. For those of you who don't know me, crisis, my life has kind of seen, various levels of crisis. In 1999, I went to the Middle East and spent 2.5 years in the Arab Republic of Yemen. And you spent 2.5 years there. And in 2000, the USS Cole got bombed. So we had to scramble. We had to change things. We had to, do some things in Yemen. And then we flew out to Bahrain and spend a few weeks there, still managing the business in Yemen while we were in Bahrain. So again, that taught me a few things about crisis management and about how do we manage through crisis. Again, in 2004, Hurricane Ivan, I was the chief executive of Cayman Islands, Grenada, when Hurricane Ivan struck Grenada and devastated the island. And again, my responsibility, outside of 1979, when I went through Hurricane David in Dominica, and I was obviously much younger then. At that time, I had responsibility for a family, I had responsibility for an organization and the people in that organization. And again, I was able to work my way through and manage through a crisis. In 2008, Cayman Wireless ran a transformation program from Cayman Wireless to Lime. And I was taken on as the executive vice president of transformation. So again, a difficult situation. When the economic crisis started in 2008, I left Cayman Wireless and started my own business coaching firm, and some people thought I was crazy. Some people thought, what are you doing? I mean, we're in the middle of an economic downturn. How can you start a business? And it's been 10 years, and we've been able to grow the business from 0 to high 6 figures. So in terms of, credibility, one could argue, or just my experience through crisis, this is just kind of what I've done over the last few years. Now, some of you may be skeptical. Some of you may be, yeah, right, Ian. I hear you. This thing is going to destroy us. This thing is going to be, and what are you? Are you just a salesman? Are you just trying to sell something? And this is not a sales speech. I'm looking to help people work through the current crisis. I will offer you help at the end of the program, but that is really up to you. You can do it. You can do it alone, but if you want help, or my team and I are here. But what I want to do today is really give you some practical guidance, tips. So don't be skeptical. I'm just here to help. I'm just here to serve. Like I said, I'm not in the medical field. What I know is leadership. What I know is coaching. What I know is helping people, one, create the right mindset and helping them to work through. So don't be skeptical. This is just a program to help you get better, help you think through and challenge your mind in certain areas. And if you want help to work through them, then fine, we're available. I'll share with you what we can do for you at the end. But the important thing is that we're going to work you through and help you through what you can do, 5 things that you can do to ensure that, I'm just checking to make sure my team is not telling me I'm missing anything. 5 things you can do to make sure that you can not just survive, because to me, it's going to be a tough season. So I'm not trying to suggest it's not difficult. I'm not trying to suggest that things are going to be easy, because it's not. The economic impact coming out of this is going to be huge. The issue is that the people who shrivel up and die, or I don't physically die, but just kind of find themselves inactive and not doing a lot, is going to struggle coming out of this. But the people who remain proactive, they will find that they will be able to get out of this in a much better place. So you can see, I'm not just dressed up today. Every morning for the last week plus, I get up, I get dressed, and I go to work. Meaning I don't go to the office, you know, I'm home, but I get up and I go to work. Because if you stay on your couch, if you stay in your bed, I can assure you you're going to be wasting your day or most of your day. So for me, what I'm trying to say to you is you can develop or determine a posture through this, or you can just let it ride. My suggestion to you as the productivity of the world plummets, my suggestion to you is to kind of raise your shoulders. Obviously, be concerned because there is something to be concerned about. However, you can ride this out and you can come out of this much better than how it started. So let's run through. Before we do, I'm going to take a quick survey. So I would love I'm going to take a quick poll. So I am going to allow you to vote. So just take a couple minutes and you see a quick survey pop up on your screen. So just answer the question. Did you make your bed this morning? Are you working from your desk or from your couch? Oh, that's the wrong question. If you're, hold on, give me 1 minute. Let me make a quick, let me make a quick edit here. My apologies, I should have changed that earlier and I didn't. Give me 1 minute. Hold on. You just give me a minute. So I'm going to just have 3 quick questions. I'm going to, yeah, I should have changed this one. I didn't. Yeah. Just 3 simple questions, and I will be with you in 1 second. It's anonymous, so you don't have to worry about me seeing who's answered what. Okay, excellent. Single choice. All right, excellent. So let me launch my poll again. My apologies. Relaunch polling. Go to. Okay, excellent. All right, thank you. I'm gonna relaunch my poll. So are you still seeing my screen, by the way? Just tell me if you're still seeing my screen. Let me go back to my presentation, quick survey. Then I can go back to my poll. No. Yes, okay. Okay, I'm relaunching my poll. Okay, please. So yeah, my apologies for that. So the polling has come to you. So just quickly, just give me some quick responses and just hit enter. Okay, okay. All right, right. Interesting results coming in. Okay, quickly, let's go. But keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. Love the speed of responses. I will have a quick look at the answers so far. Okay, excellent. Okay, come back to that. How are we doing? Okay. We have just over 50 people have completed the survey, 66%. Is that it? Is everybody who's going to complete completed, or are people still working through it? All right, so I'm going to give you a few more seconds, and then can we get a few more participants, please? Okay, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. I'm trying to get a 75%. We need about 10 more participants. We need about 10 more participants. Question 2 has, oh, okay, so the challenge is saying, yes, okay. Launch the same survey. So yeah. All right, so we had, so yes, I seem to have launched the same survey. So let's see. So if we look back at, we have 63% of people made their beds this morning. Yeah, the second question I think was poorly structured, so my apologies for that. The third question, hours of television every day. So 28% less than an hour. Let me end polling and let me share the results. Let me share the results. Okay, so 68% made their bed this morning. Second question is a little bit off. I think I think the question is poorly structured. So 33% less than 1 hour, 44% 1 to 2 hours a day, 11% 2 to 3 hours a day, and 12% more than 3 hours a day. So excellent. Thank you for your participation, and I appreciate that. Now, this is about decisions, and it leads me right into the first thing we want to talk about today, which is what are the 5 things, in my view, you need to be focused on as a leader through this. So one is you want to guard your heart and feed your mind. We're going to go to each of these in detail. Second, you want to ensure that you protect yourself and your people. Let me move this out of the way. Thank you. Third, you want to make sure that you communicate in a proactive, positive, and pragmatic way. Fourth, you want to create an action plan, create a documented action plan. It doesn't have to be a 10-page report, but you want to create a plan that is very clear what it is you're doing and how it is you're doing it. Because remember, there are people who are relying on you, people who are looking up to you, expecting and looking forward to how you're going to respond to this. And then you want to take action or execute. You want to test and measure what you're doing to see how it's working, and you want to make adjustments. So let's dig into each of these in terms of what you need to do through this crisis. So let's first speak to the idea of, let me move my screen onto the other side. Right. What do I mean when I say guard your heart and feed your mind? So, Tom Ziegler said that what you feed your mind determines your appetite. Very much like your body. If you eat certain foods, it's going to make you sluggish. It's going to make you either give you more energy or it's going to drain your energy. Through this crisis, you've got to make a choice about your mental state. Your ability to stay positive is your best chance of a successful outcome. Now people have different perspectives, but one of the things I recognize, for me personally, about 2 weeks ago, I began recognizing that I was getting a little fearful. And I had to check myself. I had to kind of bring myself back and say, Ian, hold on. And so what I did, I had to determine how much news I listened to. I had to determine how much of the social media that I take in. I had to determine how many of WhatsApp messages I'm going to listen to. Because here's the reality. There's a plethora of information out there. There are conspiracy theories. There are all sorts of information out there. The thing is, I am not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. And therefore, I am not trying to diagnose the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. I want to have enough information that I can protect myself, I can protect my family, I can protect my team, and I can advise my clients. Right? That's what I need. Once I have that, and I believe I have enough information at the moment, so I really do not listen to anymore, because what will happen to you If you as a leader become negative, it is going to be difficult for you to encourage your people. It's going to be difficult for you to put a comprehensive plan in place to adjust it. You're going to panic, you're going to get fearful, and you're going to lose your ability to be pragmatic. So what you feed your mind on is what's going to nurture you. Just like what we eat determines what happens to our body. So I want you to really think and be intentional about what you're taking. I'm not saying do not listen to what's happening. I'm not saying don't pay attention. What I'm saying to you is, if that's what you feed your mind, it's going to create fear, it's going to create panic, and it's going to immobilize you. As a leader, whether you lead a family, whether you lead a business, whether you lead a not-for-profit, a church, it doesn't matter what you lead. Your family needs someone to stay positive. Your family needs someone to be pragmatic and making plans. I want to encourage you to really guard your heart about what you take in. Feeding your mind means that you spend time listening to and feeding yourself positive input, right? So for me, my morning devotion is important. My reading of the Bible is important. I listen to the greatest salesman in the world. This morning, a friend of mine sent me, something on just how you keep focused and keep motivated. You want to be deliberate about what you take in. So my encouragement to you is to put borders around your mind. Let me explain. All the countries are shutting down their borders. Countries are shutting down their borders. Why are you leaving the borders of your mind open? Because if you do not guard your mind, guard your heart, you are going to find yourself struggling. You're going to find yourself losing your ability to be creative. You're going to find yourself struggling to be able to lead your people. For your people are looking up to you. You whether you have employees, you have children, you have parents, you have, constituents, it doesn't really matter what. If people are looking up to you, and I'm almost certain every single one of us here are people looking up to us. So the more you spend your time binging, feeding on all that news media, is the less time you're going to have people are positive, you're going to be proactive, and you're going to stay focused. So my encouragement to you is, through this crisis, put some borders on your mind and determine for yourself how you're going to spend your time. One of the things we say to folks is that you want to create 3 clear objectives for yourself every day. We have a little kit that kind of walks people through how do you work from home, what do you do in your time at home. So guard your heart, feed your mind. That's the first thing, because if you are not okay, you can't help your people be okay. If you are the one, spreading negativity, spreading fear and spreading panic, you're going to destroy the people around you. You're going to immobilize them. And if you're a business owner, now is the time for you to step up. Now is the time for you to show your people leadership. Now is the time. And this is not saying that you're not concerned. This is not saying you're kind of walking around. This is saying that I am concerned about what's happening. I am having some proactive, pragmatic conversations, which we're going to come to. But my people know that I believe we're going to get through this. I believe that this too will pass. I believe that we are going to make it through this, because this is the conversation we've been having. Because I genuinely believe that this too will pass. It's a difficult time, but I will determine how I come through this. I will determine how I respond to this, and I'm going to respond positive. I'm going to ensure that I focus my attention on how I ensure that I stay healthy. So in the evenings, for example, my son and I play tennis from about 4 or 5 o'clock. So we didn't play yesterday because I had a 6 p.m. session, but every day for the week so far, we've been playing tennis in the backyard. And so it keeps me healthy. The family and I, we do lunch together. I get out from the office, we do lunch together. So my encouragement to you is to ensure that you guard your heart and you feed your mind. Secondly, I want you to protect yourself and your people. Protecting yourself and your people means that you have let me talk to business owners first. For business owners, you've got to be able to get through this. Now, there are people who have a perspective around, and I'm going to go back maybe 3 weeks. What I was doing with my clients, and I was kind of out of social media for a while because I was spending time just helping my clients being proactive. So we were creating zones in the organization. We were getting wipes and getting, people cleaning down the office a lot more frequently. we were putting things in place that we made our people know that we are there, we are keeping the office clean, we are managing, the distance between which customers come to them. So, but we were not just doing that, but we were proactively ensuring that they are aware of it. Because we have a responsibility for ourselves. I have an older neighbor. My parents are not as young as they used to be. So part of my responsibility is calling my parents and saying, okay, look, what do we need to do in terms of protecting you and making sure that you're okay? So it is not just about me, but it is how do I make sure the people around me, my immediate family, my extended family, ensure that I help them to protect themselves. I'm not the one that's panicking, but I'm the one that's saying, okay, guys, here's what we need to do. So put plans in place, put plans in place for the workforce. People are working from home. So what we try to do is to put things in place that people still stay connected, that people are still involved. And one of my clients, we have an 8:30 call every single day. So we are putting things in place. Protecting your people means that you may have to agree to a 4-day week and reduce pay. Because if you don't do it now and this thing spreads for an extended period, you're going to find yourself maybe having to let people go that you shouldn't have if you had protected yourself over the shorter term. So think through, what am I going to do for my employees? If this thing extends into May, what are you going to do? Payroll is high in terms of the average business. What are you going to do to make sure that you protect your core people and make sure that you can actually ensure that you can move the business forward? Because if you're not in business, then people lose their jobs. If you lose the business through this period, then your people lose their jobs. They're not able to take care of their families. So it is better to be pragmatic and protect the people by protecting them physically in terms of, ensuring they stay home. Don't ask them to come to work because, you're asking them to go against what the government is saying. You're asking them to encourage the spread of the virus. So you want to do what is required to protect yourself and to protect your people. The first thing I want you to think about is the whole idea of communication. Staying silent is not the option. You want to be in constant communication to your people because they need to be reassured. They need to know what's happening. You want to be clear, you want to be caring, and you want to be consistent in your approach. You want to be commercially minded because you do not leave your people to wonder what's happening. And again, your people may not be employees, it may be your family. So, you may need to sit in your family and say, okay, we're now all home together. What are our routines going to be? Okay, how are we going to facilitate the different things we need to do at home? How are we going to do in terms of lunch, in terms of dinner? Who's going to do what? How are we going to make sure we give each other space? Because you're now in the same space for an extended period. So you want to be communicating in a proactive way. So you don't want to wait. You want to communicate up front because you want to be thinking through. You want to be positive in your communication, and you want to be pragmatic. You want to look at these 5 tips for effective communication. You want to communicate relentlessly. You want to consistently communicate. There's, you want to be positive, but you want to communicate relentlessly. You want to be simple, and you want to be direct. You don't want to dancing around the issue. You want to be upfront and honest with people. You want to be transparent and let people know. You want to listen and encourage input. You want to hear people out. You want to illustrate through stories. You want to, not just be a boring conversation, but you want to create some laughter as well. You want to make sure, and you want to make sure that you lead by example. So do not stop communicating. Keep communicating. If you have people who are working from home, you need to think through how you're going to keep communicating with them. How are you going to keep them engaged and motivated and moving forward? You may want to do a daily call. You may want to do a call twice a week. You've got to figure out because you know your people. My encouragement to you is do not stay silent. Do not leave your people to wonder and try to create scenarios in their mind. You want to be upfront, think through what it is that is required, and communicate in a proactive, positive, and a pragmatic way. I'm going to pause. Let me go back to my previous slide. I'm going to just stop sharing my screen for a minute. Let me just take any questions that there may be. Let me look at the chat first of all. It depends on your perspective in looking at the news. Just keep a check on how you are feeling about what you hear. That's a very good point, Lisa. But the point about being deliberate about what you feed yourself and God in your heart is great. Yeah, reading the Bible early. Okay, excellent so far, Ian. Thank you. Stuck on Q2, cannot get to. Okay, okay, that was question. Okay, that was some feedback. Okay, excellent. Any other question? I have some Q&A. Let me just go through. Vigilance versus paranoia mindset is important to how you navigate. Excellent. All right, let's keep rolling. So let me go back. All right. So let's now dig into the whole concept of create an action plan. And I've got, let me move my little piece down here. Okay, just confirming, you can still see my screen again? Yep, okay, excellent. So let's talk through the whole idea of employee-employer in terms of an action plan. Oh, no, back, previous. Okay, so some of your employees, some of your employers, let me walk through. Let's start with the employee. Folks, you want to create a daily routine to stay focused and productive. Now, I don't want to tell you what your routine should be. You need to figure that out for yourself. The idea of making your bed is actually a video I heard from an Army general, maybe about, I don't know, a year ago possibly, where we were speaking to the fact that, you know, if we do some key task in the morning, it helps us to do another task and another task and another task. Creating a daily routine and staying focused is essential. Because if you don't, you're going to waste this opportunity to grow. You're going to waste this opportunity to develop. Some of us need time to rest. So maybe you want to sleep a little bit longer. So this morning I got up at 6 compared to 5 because, you know, I went to bed a little late last night. You know, this afternoon I will stop a bit earlier than I normally do because it's Friday. You know, tonight the wife and I will probably watch a movie and have a glass of wine, you know, just to relax. But I have a daily routine that helps me to stay focused and productive. So I have some clear objectives of what I want to accomplish every day, and I am moving towards accomplishing those objectives. Be careful what you spend your time listening to and watching. Know your income and cash situation. Folks, you got to preserve cash, don't spend unnecessarily. You don't know how long this will go on. The banks are providing moratoriums in terms of time frame to not pay a mortgage or your loans. You want to manage your cash. Do not spend cash unnecessarily. Do not overspend. Do not, you know, buy bulks of food. The governments will ensure that we have food. You want to preserve cash. Number 5, you want to find ways to create value to your employer. For those of you working from home, do not take it as a holiday, except you are on holiday. Your employer needs to see value out of you. So find ways you can create additional value for your employer. What can you do to add value? What can you do to probably complete projects that need to be completed? What can you do to help your employer save money? What can you do to encourage your employer to do things differently in the season? Take some time and think about how you can create value for your employer. If your job is at risk, you need to figure out what you can do to create an income stream. And you can think about, the way to think about it I would suggest is to think of what are the needs in the marketplace? What are you good at? And what are you passionate about? So what are the key needs in the marketplace? What are things that require doing? And, you know, I was speaking to a group last night, and one lady, you know, for example, used to help young people. They used to do physical sessions for young people. I said, the young people are now at home. Why can't you speak to, you know, the person who had employed you to do that and ask them to prepare a program that you can actually provide the same thing online? So how do you ensure that you can create streams of income? Find out what you're good at and what you could do to add value to others. There are opportunities for people who can add value to others in the season. You have to do it differently. You have to do it in a different way, through a different medium. Zoom, for example, is free for up to 100 participants and up to 40 minutes. So if you're an individual, you don't need to pay for Zoom. You can actually take Zoom and do 30-minute sessions or do a 40-minit session, do another session. I mean, because we have over 100 people on the call, then I have a paid subscription to Zoom. This is a business subscription. Don't wait for things to happen. Be proactive. Take consistent daily action. The other thing you want to think about, how do you grow yourself through this period? What skills can you learn? What new opportunities to learn new things can you find? So take some time as an employee to grow yourself and to find out how you can add value to your employer. In terms of employers, business owners, the first thing you want to do is to know your exact financial situation. So, one of the things we did with all my clients is where are we financially? What is our current financial state? How much cash do we have? What outstanding bills do we have? What outstanding revenues do we have? What is your exact financial situation? Then you want to move to, and this is now looking at your profit and loss statement. This is now taking the time to say, okay, is there anything on my balance sheet? For example, you may have receivables, can I collect even those 10, 15, 20, 30% of it? My people are going to be working from home. Can they be making calls to see if we can collect some of that cash? What can you do to, first of all, know where you are financially? And then you begin to think about, how do I preserve my current revenue streams? What do I do for my clients to make sure that I can keep adding value? This is not just about me saying, I want to keep making money. It's about me saying, how can I add more value to my clients so that they see me as an essential service to them in helping them through this rather than just somebody who wants to bill them. So it is about you as a business owner thinking, okay, people are working from home or people are not at work. How do I as a business take this opportunity to add more value? How can I change my business model to be able to be in a position where I can deliver things differently? So for example, I mean, both Richard and I, we've been working with our clients through this. We've been having conversations, guiding them, working with them, just helping them to manage through the situation, because at the end of the day, this thing will end. And you must make sure that your clients come through this in a good way, because then you won't have a client if they don't. And secondly, if they go out of business, then there are people's lives and people's families' lives are affected. So for me, I see this very, very seriously from the perspective that if I don't help my clients navigate through this, then I am not being my best. I have to begin to be pragmatic. And my video online said that business owners should think of three things: revenue protection, revenue cost management, and revenue growth. And I got some flack for it online, but next week I'm going to dig into that even more and probably create more controversy. But it's a conversation we need to have as business owners. What do you need to do to preserve your current business model, or change your current business model, or preserve your current revenue streams? You got to think about, do you keep all your employees? Do you temporarily lay people off? Do you send people on leave? Do you make people work 4-day weeks? Because if this thing continues, you will not be able to sustain the cash drain. It's just a reality. You will not be able to sustain that cash drain. So therefore, you must manage this now. You must think through, if this continues, okay, which group of people can I lay off for short periods? Which group of people can I keep? And if I keep them, what are they going to do? I'm going to protect my core group. How do I do that? You've got to ensure that you manage your cash and you plan proactively. Be an example and lead with positivity and discipline. I am doing that for my team by getting up every morning and having the conversation, because if they see me flagging and if they see me on holiday, then guess what's going to happen? They're going to go on holiday. So, I say to them, look after your families, spend time with your families, but we still got work to do. Because we are running a business. We have clients who expect us to support them. So it is important for you to do that. 5, look for opportunities to provide services and products that add value to the market. I see there's a question. Let me see. Give me a minute. Chat. It's important to create a routine even if you don't have a business. Agreed. managing someone keeping balance, making the bed, having breakfast, and taking a shower. Excellent. Yes, I can. Yeah, yeah. Okay, excellent. Okay, great. So for those of you who are business owners, I mean, seriously, take the time and create a plan. You also want to look for opportunities to provide services and products that add value to the market. I'll give an example of a client we have in the UK. She's now a Gold Achievers Club, and they provide maintenance services to hotels. And when the UK shut down, it's like, okay, there's nothing we can do. So I said to her, why don't you, actually it was Richard actually who suggested it. Richard said, why don't you contact your suppliers and see which of your suppliers would still allow you to be open, or allow you to get merchandise from it. Because they're small companies, so they have a small crew from what I. So they contacting all the suppliers, and then they contact us for the hotels. Because guess what? The hotels need to come back in service as soon as this is over. So if you can get a crew to work at safe distances of course, then you are able to actually get permission. Don't do it illegally, please. And she was able to find a way for them to get permission, get the supplier, and now they are now working through the hotels to be able to do the renovations that's required while this is going on, because a lot of the hotels are on lockdown. So the point I'm making is there are opportunities that you as a business owner, or you as someone who may be unemployed at this point, to provide services if you stay positive and you remain creative. You also want to create scenarios and potential response options. So what would happen if your revenue drops? What would happen if your revenue disappears? If this persists, if you get sick, what's going to happen? Who's going to take charge? You've got to think through these scenarios. And this is not just something that you keep in your head. You've got to document the scenarios that you ensure that you maintain your business, you maintain your consistency and your approach towards business. If you allow your business and you run out of cash, your employees are going to be out of work and you're going to struggle to get back on your feet. My encouragement to you is, one, know your financial situation, exactly where you are. You want to preserve your current revenue stream. You want to be disciplined and manage your cash. And you want to be looking for opportunities in the market. You've got to be communicating with your people that they know what's happening. You've got to make sure that you are focused and disciplined in driving and communicating and acting as you move your process forward. Here are just a few scenarios to kind of think through. What would you do if well, now most of us are in a shutdown situation, and some of us are closed. My office is physically closed, but I'm still open for business. If this continues for 2 or 3 months, what are you going to do? What are the scenarios? How are you going to maintain cash? How are you going to manage cash? If you have reduced or no revenues, how are you going to meet your financial obligation? What are you going to do? If you or key people, happen to catch the virus, God forbid, how are you going to function? What are you going to put in place? So how do you address these issues? Will you send people home? If so, how? Will you lay people off permanently or for initial short periods? If so, who would you release first? Now, I know these are difficult questions, difficult things to consider, but as a business owner, it is your responsibility to think through those things and to make plans around it. What services can you keep offering and how will you offer them? How will you change your operating model to meet the needs of your customers? And what would you put in place for employees who must continue working? So it's just some thoughts to get you thinking through, create an action plan for your business. And the last thing, the fifth thing is, you've got to, so just moving this out of the way, you've got to monitor, you've got to adjust, and you've got to optimize. So you've got to take action. You've got to check and see how it's working. And then you've got to adjust what's happening. You must act quickly and decisively while you're checking if it's working, if it's not working. You've got to consistently track. Guys, the reality of the environment, it doesn't require us to shrink to a grain of sand, but to stand and become a bridge or a mountain. Or people expect more from us. And therefore, it is essential for us to be able to do that for them. Because as business owners, we have a responsibility to provide employment to people because it affects their families, it affects the lives of people. Don't take it lightly. And sometimes you may have to make difficult decisions up front to protect the overarching business in the long term and people who are employed. Because if you don't, not just you're going to feel the pain, because you will, but your people are going to as well. Okay. So I hope you found this useful. What next? Okay, let me just go back to a few questions that I saw. Reach out to your customer and ask how you can be of help to them. Excellent. I think that's a fantastic idea, Osman. Guys, you need to keep in touch with your customers, right? You need to keep in touch with your customers. Do not believe that they don't want to hear from you. I have one client who is making follow-up calls every single day, and people are just so pleased to hear from somebody. You know, I mean, it is just so pleasing for them. So, you know, it is. So Sharon asking about a copy of the recording. Yes, Sharon, is something I'm going to look at. So I'm recording this. I'm going to review after, and then I'll look at that. So some feedback. Okay, excellent. All right. Let me see. I think there was some question and answers. Let me get there. As a loans officer, what is the best approach to take to deal with the economic crisis as a result of the pandemic? So from a perspective of an individual, the first thing is you need to check your financial situation so you can preserve cash. Secondly, you want to speak to anyone who you may have loans with, you may owe funds to. Have a conversation. Don't wait for them to call you, call them first. Some banks have been proactive in that. They've said, you know, we'll give you 3-month moratorium. Other companies have said, you know, if you need help, call us. Guys, call. You know, you do not wait. Do not wait. Be proactive. You know, you want to preserve your cash. You want to keep your mind positive. So you want to be taking the time. No major investments at this time. You want to be doing things that's going to give you a return, that's going to help you through this rather than just be a spend to you. Will the advice change slightly if you are a subcontract worker? I would say no. I'll tell you why. If you're a subcontract worker, you have even more reason to demonstrate value. You have even more reason to demonstrate to your employer that you can add value to them, right? I am concerned about the sustainability of the internet. Yeah, it's a concern. I think that's a fair concern that there may be some disruption. But the reality is that if the internet doesn't work, use voice. Make some calls. So I'm using video. If that doesn't work, then you know I'm going to use audio. So for me, I'm thinking through what do I need to do in the event that? So I am not denying the fact that things could change, but as they change, I am going to look for alternative options, right? As employees, how do we create additional revenue streams at this time? Most ideas are overutilized. No, Juan, you'll be surprised at, all right. So there are lots of people doing lots of things in the online space, right? But there are 6 billion people in the world. You will be amazed at if you begin to look outside your physical territory. You'll be amazed at the opportunities there is. So don't look at your physical territory. Remember, because you are now online, you have the ability to reach a wider audience and be able to reach people. I have one client in one of our clubs who said that he puts his stuff out there. He's a psychologist. And he was thinking about just his country. And then suddenly somebody from the US reached out to him and he's like, wait a while now, but the world is my market now. So it's until you do it, you're not going to know. Do not allow fear to stop you from at least taking action. If you move forward, you're going to see what's working and what's not working, and then you can make adjustments. For me, your point is communicate relentlessly for stakeholders, exactly. Employees, customers, your board, in some cases like us, who provide, absolutely. So you guys, any stakeholder you have, do not leave them in the dark. Do not leave them in the dark. Communicate. As a leader, you want to communicate proactively. You want to communicate consistently. All right. Excellent. So let me do that. Let me see. I think I covered all the questions. I believe a lot of creativity is required. Also agreed. For example, we are now insisting that customers pay online. All of our meetings in the last week have been virtual. Excellent. Because I have not been out of my house for a week. Well, inside my physical, I've been outside in the yard. But I've had client sessions every single day, all by Zoom. So where you see me sitting here, this is my study, and that's where I spend my working hours, right? Because things have changed, and therefore we must change, right? It's essential. It's essential. Okay, so let me bring this to a close. I know it's been thank you for your time. So next steps. Now there are two ways you can go, right? Some of you will say, look, great, thank you very much, appreciate that, Ian. I know exactly what to do, time to roll, right? For some of you, you may say, I need some help. I need someone to kind of walk me through and help me through. You say, I'm good, thank you very much. And I'm really hopeful that I've helped you and that you have some definitive. Remember I said, make sure you have this one takeaway from today. For those of you who want some assistance in working through this, we have a Goal Achievers Club that is weekly coaching calls in a group. If you are interested in find a group of people with my coaching and working through how you get through this, how you grow yourself, how you grow as an individual, how you grow as a business owner. So we look at how do you set goals, how do you manage goals, how do you manage the crisis. We just did a 90-day planning session. So if you're interested, let me just kind of show you a little bit of exactly what you'll get out of this, in case you're interested. You get my Goal Achievement Formula ebook and workbook. You get an audio guide. That should be $297, not the comma. You get a video tutorial, which is 18 videos walking you through how do you set and achieve your goals. You get a weekly group coaching session to keep you motivated, over 11,000 of value every single week for 52 weeks. We have a coaching session every Monday night for an hour, just helping you through. So the client I told you about in the UK, that concept she got, was out of the coaching session. Richard and I did a joint session with them, and people were kind of helped, and she's generating revenues as a result of it. We have people who are employees who are finding ways to add value to the employer so they can protect their roles. We have a private Facebook group where we share ideas, concepts, that's only open to members of the club. And if you want one-to-one coach as a member of the group, then you get it at a discounted rate. Now, the value for this is over $15,000, but today, if you're interested, you can get it at US $97 a month. So if for those of you who want help, this is a club that we started in January, and it's really taking off. We have over 30 people in the group. And we have about 10, 12, 15 people on a call every week, just working through how we can help them, working through whether you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, whether you're a manager, you're a leader, what do you need to do to help grow yourself. So if you're interested, here's you can go to gaformula.com to sign up if you're interested and you want help, you want coaching to help you through this. For those of you who may want one-to-one coaching, and you want us to personally work with you, to help you and your business grow, or to help you with your team or your career or your organization, obviously just send us an email, info@thecilc.com. We are here to help, and ready to try and help you work through this so you come out on the other end in a much better place. So again, two options for those of you who wants help. Again, if you're happy with where you are, then, great. I really want to say to you, take some time, document a plan, and work through and make sure that you're moving forward. Be proactive, be positive, be pragmatic. For those of you who want help, we have two options. One is our Goal Achievers Club, where you get an ebook, workbook, audio guide, video tutorial, group coaching sessions, which to me is where the value is had, where people really get change, people get accountability, because we're talking every week, we're moving every week. And then you access to our Facebook group, and then if you want one-to-one coaching, or if you want one-to-one coaching, then, you know, you can go to, so for those of you who are interested in the club, go to gaformula.com. You'll get more information on that. For those of you who want one-to-one coaching, then, you know, feel free to send us an email at info@thecilc.com. So folks, you know, any questions? I really hope that you found, you know, the last hour. I've done pretty well. Yeah, I've done pretty well. I hope you found the last hour useful, but let me just, you know, if you have any questions, I'm just going to take those questions. I value your time, so I don't want to keep you, but I'm just going to stay, you know, I'll stay as long as we can to answer your questions. So let's roll. Okay. An app called Nextdoor which connects neighbors. That's an interesting one. Michael said, think so that outside the box, look at opportunities. What demand has been created as a result of the circumstances? Can you feel that demand? Don't be afraid to fail. If one idea doesn't work, try another. I love that, Michael. So again, guys, that's why I say to you to guard your heart and feed your faith. If you are struggling to keep your mental health and you're negative, it's going to be difficult to be creative. It's going to be difficult. But if you are consistently getting up, getting dressed, and staying focused on opportunities, you will find ideas. App called Nextdoor, connecting neighbors. What gaps, what challenges have been faced in the market that you can supply? I mean, I told somebody, I'm sure there's an app to do it already, but you know, we can create an app that says, you know, if you want to have dinner with someone, you're alone, you know, we go online, we set up our tables and we can have a conversation. There are tons and tons of opportunities. I was chatting with some folks last night. You know, you can, if you take the time to be focused, if you take the time to guard your mind, if you take the time to feed your faith and remain positive, instead of binging on Netflix, look at a few YouTube videos, you know, look at some opportunities around you, because you will find that if you look at what other people are doing in other countries, you will find opportunities. For my business, I think I would need you and Richard to come and speak to us all staff once you get back to work. We will need a positive motivation. Sure, then is not a problem. We could do it virtually even now to keep them motivated. I signed on late due to time zone differences. We have a presentation for you that date. Yeah, I will. I just got to figure out how we present it back. Excellent presentation. Gregory, what's up, man? We can always speak offline, even though. Agreed, my good man. Excellent. Folks, let me just make sure, I just want to make sure I answer all the questions. Thank you for the reinforcement. I have to get back to work now. You're welcome. Very informative. Can I have an email to this presentation, please? Thank you, and have a great weekend. You're welcome, Guillaume. All right, so folks, for those of you who are interested in joining us on the Goal Achievers Club and getting some guidance and being with a group of like-minded people, you can go to gaformula.com. And for those of you who are interested in one-to-one coaching and helping you with your team, you feel free to email us at info@thecilc.com. So again, either the gaformula.com or you can email us at info@thecilc.com. Folks, thank you very much. You know, I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time, and I really hope that you found this session valuable. And I pray you keep safe, you keep your family safe. God bless. Take care.